I hired a pie to find out my beautiful wife has been cheating for years. Part 1. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. I would like to share my story as well due to the fact that now I feel confused, lost, broken and don't know exactly what to do from this point on. I must warn you that my story is a very long. I'm 33 years old and she is also 33 years old. We got married in 2010. We met up at my uncle's church. I was playing the piano and noticed her staring at me lol. At that time I was dating someone, so I did not approach her, but when I ended my previous relationship I found a way to contact her through MySpace. We went to the movies as friends and after 3 weeks, I asked her if she wanted to be my GF and she said yes. Life was great. We went out a lot. I sang and played the piano to her just like in the movies. Things were exactly like I always wanted to be like. So I called her one night before her birthday and asked her if she wanted to go to the movies on her birthday, and she said no, that she had plans with her friends and that she was being picked up at 8 p.m. Red flag. I know. But because we were only dating for a few months I just couldn't tell her no. I didn't want her to think that I was that type of boyfriend that would try to control what she did. So I brushed it off that night. The next 2 days I found some pictures on her MySpace profile with her laying down on the table and her friends were playing body shots, and on one of the pictures she said I don't know why but that felt really good, and in the picture was an ex of her licking her neck. I was very mad and called her immediately and asked her why would she let them do this to her. We broke up that night, but then she called me and convinced me that she was very sorry and that it was very stupid of her and she would never do that again. Fast forward 2 years, I asked her to be my wife at our special place. Which I will mention more details about this special place later. We got married at my grandparents' property, which was an absolutely beautiful wedding besides hailing on us. It was an outdoor wedding. The first 2 years of our marriage was absolutely wonderful. I had probably the best time of my life. We were going through new adventures together. I honestly thought that we were perfect for each other even though we were polar opposites. She was the most sweetest person in the world I've ever met. She would do things beyond anyone else I've known. I'm more of an outdoor person, likes to go camping, swimming, mountain biking, etc. She is more of a city girl that likes to go shopping, but besides all that we managed to work things out. So after 2 years of being married I was on our desktop computer and she left her Facebook account, was logged in, and I saw literally by accident a few messages from her ex, we'll call him Dickhead. My first reaction was anger, but I stayed calm and I read through the messages and slowly started realizing that they both missed each other due to the fact that he told her that he misses her and she replied I miss you too. I saved all those messages on my old phone and saved it on my email due to maybe later in the future I would need them for whatever reason. I confronted her and asked her what the hell was this all about. She had no words to explain herself and just said that they were just talking and that it was her mistake. Obviously I was very angry and upset. I let it go for time and told her that I don't want her to talk to him anymore. So time went by and I bumped into an old friend of high school. We were talking for a good 15 to 20 minutes and he said that he does a little bit of personal digging for a living, which I didn't understand at that time, but he explained to me that he can hack any device or social media to get any information. I took his number just in case if I needed to do that later in the future. A few months later I noticed she was constantly hiding her phone, and honestly I saw that as a big red flag. I knew that doing this was obviously not the right thing, but my gut was telling me to look into her phone and see why she was hiding her phone constantly. I tried logging myself into her phone using the password that she's been using for a long time, but all 3 or 4 times just denied the code. She obviously changed the password for some reason and that bothered me a lot, but I didn't say anything to her. That night I remember that I couldn't sleep because again my gut feeling was telling me to do some digging. I contacted my old friend from high school and asked him how all of this worked. Basically he just said to give him first and last name and any information, so I gave him all the information that I could. The next morning he calls me up and says that he would like to meet up so he can give me all the information that he was able to gather up, so we met up, and because he is my friend from high school he didn't charge me 1 penny and just said good luck with everything, and when he said that it made me feel horrible. The first page went back when my wife and I were dating. I noticed that she was talking to Dickhead and she was talking about what bus she was going to take and what time she was going to leave. When I first read this I wanted to cry, but I held it together. The more I kept reading the more I found out that they have been having sex meanwhile I was texting her and asking her how her day. She will obviously lied to me and said that her day was pretty boring and it was nothing exciting. After 15 pages or more I counted up the many times that they met and all the times they were having sex, and it added up more than 3 to 4 times a week for 6 months. I felt absolutely disgusted. The last pages I saw her telling him that she couldn't keep on doing this because she had feelings towards me. I was like, what the F? They stopped seeing each other. Side story. My wife, GF, at that time we found a special place up in the hills where you could see the beautiful Bay Area. That place meant a lot to me because we went there multiple times. We called it top of the world. That was the place where I asked her to be my future wife and she said yes. Every year we went there to celebrate our anniversary. Anyways. After I finished reading everything I came home and she smiled and said, "Hi baby, I missed you." I looked at her in disbelief. From that time on I couldn't even see her the same way I always looked at her. I started to distance myself from her. I just couldn't believe she would ever do that to me. She was my everything, my world. Endless nights of not sleeping or eating right. I wanted to just leave and call it quits. But I said to myself that no one is perfect and to let it go. And I couldn't just let go of the promise we said to each other on the altar. Years went by and it took me a long time to forget it, but it was never possible. Then family drama hit my life. I was accused of something so stupid. Police got involved. Later it all got dropped due to none of the stories made sense in the background of my life. My wife's family looked at me like the worst person ever, and my wife and I started to go downhill. I couldn't be near my wife's family. I got kicked out of her family and had to find my own place by myself, thinking that my wife would be next to me and at least be there for us. But because she did not believe me, she did not come with me. I was very hurt because we both promised each other that we would be there for each other no matter what. I was staying at my boss's house for the meantime until things cooled off, but I still kept contact with my wife. I noticed her not calling me more frequently, and one day it just hit me. That same gut feeling I had years ago came back. I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to be nosy again and find something that would hurt me again. I called her and asked her if she would like to come with me to see some Christmas lights in the city, and she agreed. We had a pretty good time. To be honest, I thought that it was just me overreacting. It got really late and I told her that it's probably best if we got a hotel room to spend the night together rather than driving back really late, and she agreed. That night we made love, or so I thought we did, but I failed her distance. Like if it was just me doing the lovemaking. The next morning I drove her home where I used to live and we argued there, and that's where she told me that she no longer loves me. Those words killed me inside so bad. The woman of my life is gone. I asked her why doesn't she love me anymore, and she said she doesn't know, it's just so many things have been going on and that she'd rather end things now. I was very upset and I just looked at her and couldn't believe what she was just telling me, so I told her to think about it. I got to my destination and I just sat in my car and cried probably for a good hour and a half. Begging the man upstairs to help me out because I did not know what to do at this point. Everything I had is gone now. I couldn't understand her, so I had to find out why the sudden change. There are more to come. Find out the update of this story, check our channel or the description. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.